wanted it to be $100,000 from the beginning, but I didn't know if I would get that money. So when it kept coming in, I just kept raising the cap until I got there. I never said that I was going to sue the police. I wanted to be very careful with the language that I used.
Big dog, that's that the title of that said legal fund, and prior to putting that up, you mentioned the idea of taking legal action. Leading everyone to believe that you were taking legal action. Be careful with your words, what you had said yourself. I find it a little scummy that you decided to keep raising the cap every time you hit the point that you wanted. Kind of seems like you're using that money for something else, or you're just basically stealing it. You're not really putting it to any use. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Now today, of course, we're talking about Keffals, and literally everyone else who was involved prior in this situation. I'm going to mention their names, but I feel like it's not super important. But I was going to make a video about the whole thing that I'm about to recap over real quick. I thought it was going to be a bigger deal, and then I got busy with life, and I was like, it's not a huge, it's alright, it's fine, we're chilling. So basically a while back, Keffals started uploading constantly in a very selfish response to a man's, how do we say, self-destruction. Keffals received backlash and went into absolute panic mode with plenty of deflections, such as blaming conservatives for the way she's being treated, and for a man's, of course, self-destruction, and not to mention the amount of brain dead people saying that the response to Keffals, specifically from someone like Mudahar, is only going to bring hate to the trans community, despite the fact that Keffals has gotten themselves into we'll say a long list of situations where they're doing activities regarding, talking about, and interacting with minors in ways that raise some eyebrows, if I'm being completely honest with you. So say what you want to say about me, but if minors having trouble, they have trouble with basic algebra, and they can't be drafted in the military, their brains are not developed enough to take fucking DIY HRT. I don't care what you have to say. They can't compute basic algebra 90% of the time, and your brain does not fully develop until the age of 25, right? Now, I mean, there's why we have an age limit up until like 21 for certain things like tobacco and liquor. But it's kind of the reason we have those things is you can't exactly make great decisions when you have a non-fully developed brain, and then throwing a bunch of bullshit into that. It's a whole thing I'm not getting into. So the person specifically who self-destructed was James Somerton, a Canadian YouTuber accused of plagiarism back in 2023, which is the only thing that I really had of note from that person, along with many other manipulation tactics that were eventually covered by an individual named H-Bomber Guy. Now, H-Bomber Guy, along with Vosh, yes, that Vosh, that guy, were accused of basically causing this man's passing, which is absolutely fucking ridiculous because all they did was call him out on something. And if the man was unstable enough to unfortunately come to the point of self-destruction, there was some, to quote Rick and Morty, sounds like that guy had some other stuff going on, right? There's definitely some things that were not addressed, and the fact that we started pointing fingers almost immediately is kind of crazy to me, that we just, it was conservatives' fault. No, it was Vosh, that motherfucker. No, it was H-Bomber. Fuck that guy, right? It doesn't make any sense to me. So, they got, H-Bomber Guy and Vosh got pressed, which, like I said before, it's ridiculous. Anyone with a functioning frontal lobe could have told you that, and told you that the man clearly had other shit going on, and to bring a bunch of BS into it is wild to me. Not only was Vosh involved, but a man named Tipster was lightly involved, as people were trying to rope him into it, arguing that it had something to do with Tipster defending Vosh on Lolicon, blah 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 blah, a bunch of other stuff. Keffals going scorched earth on a bunch of other people, including Vosh and Tipster, on claims of racism. it's a big fucking mess. It was a big fucking shit show. Who the fuck is Keffals, right? You're probably asking that. If not, this next part's probably not for you. So, Keffals is basically a failed political figure for the Communist Party who's been caught multiple times, like I said, doing, saying, and interacting with minors in very suspect manners. Doing and saying, that doesn't make any sense. But saying things about and to minors was very suspect, the things that were said. Keffals, of course, acts the victim yet again after a video from the Willie Mack show began going up and basically exposed the shit out of her. Deleting a shitload of content, going like full scorched earth over on Twitter. And what I mean that, it's like tweets I actually can't show you, specifically calling, not from Keffals, but being retweeted and then upset that people are, silencing the use of the F slur about Keemstar. Kind of wild. And let's not forget that Keffals the ketamine killer, trademark pending. That's a joke, by the way. Please keep that in mind. It's a joke. It's not a good one, but I thought I'd try something. You know what I'm saying? Basically, a drug addict was over on Twitter again, basically comparing the idea of being Keemstar over doing crack, and said crack is, it's better than being Keemstar, which is what the fuck is happening, dude. This shit's like probably the most insane things I've heard from a functioning adult. I don't know if I can call it functioning at this point, because we're hitting a point where it's borderline. Like this person might need some fucking help. No, it's not borderline anymore. This person needs some fucking help. You probably ask yourself, what the fuck? And if you needed more of a reason to question this person's reputation, in the Willie Mack show, he covers a very great topic that, I just showed you at the beginning regarding the legal fund. And I don't know if you paid attention to that, but Keffals was raising the cap every time they would get to a point that they wanted, and they would raise the cap again, and they hit that point, and they would raise the cap again. And they just kind of brush it off as, oh, I don't know what you guys are talking about, until Keffals was, unfortunately, for them, strong-armed into having to respond, for lack of a better term. It wasn't exactly a response. It was just kind of like, whatever, dipshits. I just moved it. And, you guys can't get mad at me because technically I used proper wording, and I didn't technically say I was going to do anything. That's just called being a misleading piece of shit, but alright, anyway. Yada yada yada, money used for drugs, blames Keemstar for a bunch of stuff. You get the big picture. It's an unhinged fucking mess. Now, as if it couldn't get any fucking weirder or worse, Keffals went on a stream and responded to the Willie Mack show situation in probably the dumbest deflection I've ever fucking heard in my life. That's what most political or very politically based streamers or content creators tend to do. They'll reference something entirely fucking irrelevant and then pretend like it was a boom, drop the mic, I'm fucking out of here, see you nerds, hey, fuck you. It's really a big fucking nothing burger, if I'm being completely honest with you.
Are we gonna talk about the Willie Mack video?
Super cute.
Hold on, I have a quote to read out. I would like to paraphrase the late Russian revolutionary Vladimir Lenin. Why should we bother to reply to Willie Mack? He would reply to us, and we would have to reply to his reply. There's no end to that. It will be quite enough for us to announce that Willie Mack is a traitor to the working class, and everyone will understand. So that's my statement.
Yes, the classic deflect and point the finger and label someone because they called you out on some shit. Instead of actually responding to something that's valid, it's not exactly like he's saying, ooh, Keffals Keffals a dum-dum. Ooh, Keffals a dum-dum. Keffals is weird. Keffals acts weird. Keffals, respond to me. Keffals, please. It's not like he's saying shit like that. He's actually bringing up pretty valid points, and he's digging up some very valid information in terms of criticism, right? It's not like we're just pointing fingers and labeling each other like Keffals literally does to Willie Mack in this clip and just fucking deflects it and pretends like it was a mic drop and goes, okay, well, I mean, yeah, I'll respond to him. He's a traitor to the working middle class. That is all. That is all. Like, what the fuck? What kind of fucking bullshit ass, empty ass, nothing burger of a fucking response is that? Because that carries literally little to no value or weight. Now, if you've passed a 6th grade English class, you would know that for you to respond to a valid criticism, which is backed up by what, like fucking 80 pieces of evidence in that fucking video from Willie Mack, you would need to, in order to shut that argument down, provide your own argument, citation, and maybe a counter argument to shut that down before anything continues, right? Now, Keffals goes on to say that essentially it's never gonna end, and it's fucking blah blah blah, cry me a fucking river, all this other shit about how it's only gonna be back and forth, right? I don't know about that, because I've seen plenty of discourses go down where it does end because there's a conclusion and there's everything to be talked about has been talked about, right? It's not like we're in a, current U.S. presidential debate where basically the two candidates are old as fuck up there and they're just throwing insults at each other. No one knows what the fuck is happening anymore. And then the dude running the shit is like, what the fuck? You gotta answer the fucking question. What the fuck? You know what I mean? It's not like it's a total fucking shit show like that. We're bringing in receipts here for you to just brush it off as like, this is just never gonna end. It comes off as disingenuous and you're acting like a fucking child because it's never gonna end because you're not responding to anything properly and you're brushing it off like it's nothing. Now, you probably could use my own words against me. 6th grade class shit, whatever the fuck, right? You're getting where I'm going with this. When I said that Vosh needs to stop talking about the things he's being criticized for. Now, that one is a little different because Vosh was talking about children and minors and age of consent quite often and kept bringing it up throughout years and years and only addressed it in one big long video. Whereas about halfway through that, he should have just stopped talking about it and never brought the concept up ever again, and should not have had to slip up with the horses in the fucking folder and all that other shit, right? It was very easily avoidable and he chose not to avoid it, and he chose to double down on his stance, and then was upset that everyone kept bringing it up. Everyone keeps bringing it up because, number one, it's fucking hilarious to call you out on that one, and number two, all of your reactions to it would be small digs, and you'd be like, guys, I already addressed this. Just, you gotta move on, bro. Stop making mistakes, right? Whereas Keffals is just like, you guys are kind of annoying, and you're bad. You're bad people, based on how I feel. It's just not a fucking valid response. That doesn't make any fucking sense. That is so unbelievably empty and hollow a response just to label someone in response to being called out on valid criticism and then act like it's a mic drop. You're not like some fucking huge big brain over here, right? We're running room temperature IQs. Damn, I fucked that shit up. We're running we're running room temp IQs in here. I might be fucking room temp IQ at this point, just talking about this topic for so long. Anyway, I'm probably going to make another video about this. I just want to get this out there. Please check out the Willie Mack Show. Willie Mack Show's great in-depth analysis on this whole storyline if you want to keep up to date with this thing. I just kind of wanted to call Keffals out on this bullshit and then bring attention to Keffals again, because the fucking deflection is real. Stop doing this stupid shit where if you're losing an argument or you get called out for doing something incredibly fucking dumb, you just... Well, actually, you're invalid because, I'm gonna push up my glasses real quick, because, you're against the working middle class. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, subscribe, stick around. Like if you like it, just so you dislike it. And let me know what you want to see gameplay-wise or content-wise, topics, music, what have you, whatever it is. Let me know in the comments below, and I got a Discord server link below if you want to play Helldivers. I'm not in there as much as I would like to be, but I'm trying to get back out of the groove, and I'm trying to get into streaming as well. So stick around for that. Thank you. See ya.